Good morning, good morning. Oh, finally Friday. It has felt like Thursday every week, so I have been wanting to get to this finally Friday. Guys, I have the honor and privilege of having one of my hometown commissioners and someone who has figured social media out, but just out in the community, and I'm all about supporting people, especially public servants who are serving our community. In the car this morning, Commissioner Peggy Choudhry from Osceola County.
Hello.
My goodness, I am so excited to have you in here this morning. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for having me
No,
in this awesome truck.
No, that was the cool thing. When you got in, you're like, this is nice.
This is really nice.
And, compliments are weird, but when you compliment my truck, I'm always going to take the compliment because this thing is so bad.
It's an amazing setup. I love it.
It's cool when you have a platform like this, you can get messages out real quick, talk to the community and stuff. But you are one of Osceola County's elected commissioners here in one of the largest counties in the state of Florida. Talk to me a little bit about you. Where do you come from? How'd you even think about politics? There's always something that happens.
Always.
People don't, at 4 or 5 years old, don't say, I'm going to be a commissioner.
Yeah, that's not
something happens in life. So talk to me a little bit about yourself, ma'am.
Yes, of course. Thanks so much again for having me. I love being here. And I actually was born in Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay.
The smallest state, which some people don't realize. So I come from Providence, Rhode Island. Stayed in Rhode Island almost all my life growing up. And I loved it. Loved doing community service there, just kind of like helping the community with different things at an early age. So I kind of loved doing that, giving back. My parents kind of taught me that's a good thing to do. And
Absolutely.
I just loved it.
Yeah.
So I did that. And then, of course, moving to Florida, I absolutely loved coming here. My parents
Every northerner does.
Well, it's funny because my mom is like, I'm going to eventually retire in Florida because my grandmother was here too.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, then I have to go there. I'm not going to be without my mom and my dad.
Right, especially like that far.
Yeah, it was like, no, that's not happening. So I moved here. Of course, we all started moving here, and it was just amazing. I really loved it. I loved Osceola County. We were in a small business right on 192.
So what year did you come here?
That was, I think it was 2002, maybe.
Okay.
Or something along there.
It's
Don't quote me, but
grown
something
a lot.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's insane, right?
This area, the West 192 of where I represent in the district, it's unbelievable growth. That's amazing. But when we came here, I actually was already working for the federal government.
Okay.
Because I was actually a federal officer.
Right.
And I did that for several years, and I absolutely loved it. I loved giving back in the service when it came to learning immigration law, doing immigration. So I started at the Miami airport as an inspector before the Department of Homeland Security.
And before all the cool reality shows came out.
Oh yeah, way before that.
She'd
I would
be
totally
kind of
be in that.
guys on that, all over X and stuff. They'd be like, "We love Officer Choudhry" or something. It'd be great.
That would have been fun.
So you started in Miami.
I started in Miami, and then got promoted to adjudication side of it. So I did one side of the fence, and then the other side of the fence, as I say it. And so adjudications was approving and denying residencies, citizenships, and that type of thing. So I really had a grasp on boots on the ground on what we did.
So you were like one of the officers conducting interviews.
Yes.
So I'm familiar because my wife went through that process.
Oh, yes.
So many years, a lot of money, a lot of questionnaires, a lot of interviewing.
Some stress as well.
I wouldn't even say some. I would say a lot. So the immigration process is thorough. So yeah.
It's very thorough. And folks get nervous, just because you're coming in front of an officer, you spend so much time and money, and you're just like, so we did that a lot. Although I do have to say I became more of an expert in marriage fraud cases.
Okay.
And so I trained and taught others on how to catch marriage fraud cases within the area. So I really loved doing that. That's what I really love to do. But I left that side and decided to open up my business with my family here on 192 in a small hotel.
Okay.
And that is where I've seen a lot of things that I really wanted to see better.
So you put your roots here on the west side and you stayed on the west side.
I stayed. Yeah, I loved it. When we had the small little mom and pop, we started seeing, just a lot of services that were needed by families. And unfortunately, families were coming to us for help, and we weren't able to assist them. And when I reached out to county services, it just at the time wasn't available.
Okay. Yeah, and you're like, nah, I'm going to get involved.
Yeah, right. And that was one of my main reasons of getting involved, because I said, how coming from Rhode Island, right, where I saw some services, I said, why don't we have it more here, more available, or just just easier access, right? Like that type of thing. So it really incentivized me to get involved in not just the chambers through business, but also other agencies and organizations and learning about them. So that's what I loved to do, and I started picking up on that. And then I started seeing lots of like smaller hotel business owners, minority business owners that kind of talked a little bit about how, you know, the county truly didn't understand the hardships that they were going through.
Okay.
And then the law is not changing to help and assist them to do the small business that they're trying to do in it.
So a lot of jumping around, basically.
Just a lot, yeah. So through all of that, lots more has happened through it, but then
you never thought you'd have a Margaritaville, I bet.
No, and this is amazing. Look at this, how beautiful. I mean, folks don't realize, thanks to Margaritaville, look at all of this other development.
Right, then the residential areas boom because people then want to live here.
Correct.
Because then they don't have to leave here.
Exactly.
kind of
well,
thing.
Remember, when you could go to a restaurant 5 minutes from your house, like that's great, and it's a great restaurant, and it's easy to go out, and so that's kind of the feel here for District 1, especially on the west end here in Four Corners.
So you talk about like the businesses that you get involved with and stuff, and then you mentioned other organizations.
Yes.
Commissioner, you down here are kind of like the heaviest involved in one of my closest.
Oh, yes.
The Salvation Army.
Yes.
U6 and the Salvation Army are like brother and sister.
Yes, and I love it.
We love because in Orange County, we always have some of our commissioners up there that are involved. Commissioner Myra Uribe heavily involved. When I think of commissioners, I think of you down here.
Yes.
So it takes a team to really do what commissioners do, if that makes sense. Because I think the misconception is, well, I call, they say, they need to just do it.
Oh, no.
But you're kind of... the job is a bridge builder.
It is. It's definitely, it's putting things together in pieces of puzzle, right? Like it's a puzzle piece, and you have to bring in organizations. Listen, the Salvation Army is a perfect example. We as a county cannot do half the work we do when it comes to services if it isn't for organizations like the Salvation Army, because they're the ones who actually go out and do the work. We could provide some funding, or we could provide some of the marketing, whatever it is, right? Together collaboratively, but it really takes a village. So for me, that's the most important piece that folks sometimes don't realize, but putting it together and seeing it come for fruition is important.
So before we get to why you're here, what is some of, if you could tell me and residents down in your area, what is your biggest challenge as a commissioner you're currently facing, and what is the biggest mission that you guys are currently accomplishing down here?
Wow.
Yes, I was gonna get
questions.
you at least 2 good ones, because if I've got you here, like, this is the place to let our residents know, hey, this is what we've got going on.
Yeah.
Because not everybody, you guys do a killer job on social media, you specifically. So if you guys are not following her and you live out here in District 1, give her a follow, because there's not only information, but you do a cool segment about behind politics and stuff like that, just educating some of the ins and outs and stuff like that. But when it comes to your district, what's one of your biggest challenges you're facing, and one of the coolest accomplishments that you guys are getting done?
Well, I think the biggest challenge, and anyone would say, is obviously our growth.
Okay.
I mean, our growth, it's like, think about your growing family, right?
Right.
You have all of a sudden a 3-member family, and all of a sudden you grow to a 20-member family.
Yeah, that's kind of big.
It's pretty big. And so if you think about that in your own house, like, what do you have to do to make those improvements?
Right.
And how quickly can you do it to accomplish the hardships from it that comes with it, which is services, fire, ambulances, like everything that people are going to need when growth comes, infrastructure, proper traffic, public transportation. And so those are the challenges. However, I am proud that we are dedicating millions and millions of dollars to the growth and to the infrastructure industries. It's not fast enough, and I get that. I wish it was faster, but we are getting it.
But there's checks and balances that have to happen.
Right, yeah.
Can't just write checks.
I wish we could.
Right, it would be nice. It would be nice.
I would be writing them all day long for roads.
But I've seen you guys have put up some new fire stations.
Yes, we did.
Recently.
Yep, right in my district. We have 2 new fire stations. We have the huge ladder trucks as well. We have just a lot of the things that fire needs, and ambulances, and for services. So for all that stuff is really critical and important. So those are the things that are challenging.
Okay.
But we're still working on it every single day. But one of the great things that we are doing is we're bringing a lot of stuff to the district that didn't have before. For example, the very first tech park. We're going to have the first tech park here, where you could bring, of course, your lovely animals, but of course also the families to come and play. But the tech park component is to create something where new students of today's generation would incentivize themselves to take their devices to go. More importantly, to housing.
That's really interesting. You got my brain kind of.
Yeah, I knew you were going to start.
I'm like, huh?
Be like, I know a lot of
to
things.
bring their gadgets. I'm like,
Yes.
that could be really cool.
Yes, so that's in the works,
Okay.
and we did the groundbreaking. So we're starting on the infrastructure. It's just right down the road from here, and then of course we're doing housing projects. And I'm very proud that District 1 has some affordable housing projects that we're working on, and that's already up and going. So we're just adding to it. And when I talk about housing opportunities, I'm bringing different types of housing,
Okay.
from small, 350 square foot to the bigger homes that
Got it.
families need.
So from like studio size
Correct.
to single family
One bedroom,
units kind of
single
thing.
family, that type of thing.
Okay.
And truly affordable,
That's interesting, especially on this side of the county. People would not
Yeah.
expect that here because it's like,
Exactly.
oh, that's the tourist side. Well, no.
Yeah. But we
People
need
live
it.
here as
Yeah,
well, so
we
you need
need
to
it.
live out here.
So I'm continuously advocating for more on this West End because
Okay.
obviously people want to work and play in the same area. It's just simple. It's best to be, with family close to it. So instead of driving 2 hours to work or an hour to work. So that's kind of like the concept with housing and things. But those are some of the stuff we're doing. Of course, with the Salvation Army, we're doing something amazing. So the county has supported the Salvation Army and had granted a $5 million grant. That's
Holy
a
cow,
matching
Commissioner.
grant that we're going to be bringing the very first emergency center in Osceola County.
From the Salvation Army
With
Emergency
the
Center.
Salvation Army being the organization that's going
That
to
is
help
huge.
That's huge.
So when you
Just
say
a-
emergency services, what are we
Yes.
talking?
We're talking everything. Let's think of the family that is working 2 jobs and that type of thing and falls into an illness. Like one member of that household that's the breadwinner.
Okay.
That is a hardship.
Yes.
If they fall into illness of any kind and they cannot work for a week or 2, what happens? Where do they go? So this is going to be that agency. The Salvation Army is going to be that open door that collaborates with all these other agencies and organizations working together so that 1, they don't duplicate services, 2, they're open and their funds go further in addressing needs that they have.
Salvation Army is the best construction company ever.
Yes,
Because they're
that's
just
the
like,
perfect way to say
we're
it.
going to build this. All right, boom, it's done.
Yeah,
and it's like, you don't need to go
exactly.
out and survey nothing. They just say, oh, it's done kind of thing. That's awesome.
So the Major and I have been talking so much about, how we want to implement, how he's going to be implementing this with all of the resources they already have, and then add so much more resources, especially with our Pathway to Housing program, providing real homes, like no rental, but actual homes with for folks that have been,
It's got to be such
hardship.
a boost for people.
Oh my
Such
God,
a boost. I
it's
cannot
going to be.
imagine people going through such tough times and all of a sudden a program goes, we're not just going to put you up, this is yours.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yours for you and your family to break the cycle of rent.
Right.
You see, people own their homes, that breaks the cycle of rent for their future children,
Amen.
for their children and their future children. Yes.
Man, we've gotten to talk about a lot of stuff. I love this. And I kind of used the topic in order to talk about this stuff. But this is stuff I feel people want to know. Like, especially the topic we're going to segue into in a second. But it's like, if you're interested in that, you're interested in everything else what's going on. And you need to just be aware. And I think with you guys being able to articulate what's happening in this community, I think people appreciate maybe politics a little bit more, and they're officials within the community because they see, okay, it's not just a post on Facebook. No, you guys are out here working.
We're working,
and it's not just for the people; it's for your pets too.
Yes.
So you love your Dolce so much, little Pomeranian, that you have just as much as I love my dogs. We have a passion for animals, and it's amazing because our lives are so busy with the serious stuff that having that outlet for our dogs and our cats and whatever other animal you got is such a glass filler.
Oh, it's amazing.
Right?
It's
so
amazing.
you have an event coming up tomorrow. About getting your pet microchip, which is it should be mandatory, it should be law, and at the end of the day, it's to truly help your animals, because once they're lost if we can't identify them. So talk to me. How did this happen? We got your flyer up there on the screen.
Yes. Oh, great. That's good.
Over at 2925 International Drive in Kissimmee, so on the south end of I Drive. Talk to me about it.
Well, first of all, I'm so excited because my little baby is there. I love to always show him. Isn't he gorgeous? Look at how could you say no to that baby?
Come
you
on.
can't say no about anything. I can never.
No, I'm
He's
sure
spoiled.
he gets exactly what he wants.
Oh, everything. So yes, it starts at 10 a.m. and this is going to be very, very simple for families that are like, whether you're in a rush and stuff, because it's going to be a drive up. So it's basically bring your pet.
Wow.
By the way, you could bring any pet, right? Because we're going to microchip a pet because we know pets are important. So we're going to have a drive up. It's very simple. There's some questions that they ask. Very, very simple process. They do it for free, absolutely no cost. I'm going to have some treats.
So you guys aren't charging for this?
No, this is completely free.
Okay.
This is completely free.
I like this. Even better. Now there's no excuse.
There's no excuse whatsoever. I mean, you've got a microchip.
So you're going to have treats as well?
We're going to have some fun treats. Yes, I'm buying some more today because I want to make sure I have enough.
Right.
And so we're getting treats for cats, for dogs, and maybe I'll have some other treats for other animals. And you could bring any animal. Like, I know people... there was a rooster that was brought before. Yes,
guys,
there's
I've
a
never
rooster,
seen a rooster get
a pig,
chipped,
and so you know, just bring your animals. I think it's important, and like you said, you know, animals are a part of my life, your life, but they're part of our families.
Absolutely.
And I could, you know, I don't know if you know this. I used to have a monkey.
I did not know this.
When I was growing up.
What is happening
a small little monkey. His name was Alex. He was amazing.
That sounds amazing. I want a raccoon.
I love animals.
I want a raccoon so bad.
So that's what I'm saying. If you have your animals,
how'd you make this happen, though?
So we so obviously we work together with our animal services.
Okay.
We had to collaborate with our animal services, and of course they collaborate with other organizations to help bring this together in order to have everyone we need there, including volunteers, including the vets, obviously the professionals.
To
because
administer it.
I'm not going to be.
You're not chipping people.
No. And of course have everyone together. That's the way that we have to work as commissioners, right? Is putting together these organizations so that we could offer these services for the residents.
So freaking cool.
Yeah.
Commissioner, thank you guys. Tomorrow, Saturday, March 22nd, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So what? We got 3 hours of there. 2925 International Drive. It's drive up. So you don't even need to get out of the car. It's that old former Publix, that huge building there at the intersection across the street. I think that's from the Walgreens.
Yes.
At the corner there, east of Celebration. Osceola County residents only.
Yes.
All right? So I don't need none of those Seminole County folks driving down to get your free chip tomorrow. They're going to be checking your driver's license, making sure that you're good to go from there. But this is free, and this is no reason if you don't have a chip, come out. And you don't even have to live in the Commissioner's District.
Nope.
As long as the entire county. So that's really cool. So Point Siena, St. Cloud, Buenaventura, all you guys, come on outside to the west side tomorrow. Weather's going to be beautiful. And then you got Margaritaville right here. And you can hang out and grab lunch.
Hang out, have lunch, chill.
Look at that.
It'll
Take your
be
dog for a walk afterwards.
Yes! Oh my gosh.
See, she loves her dogs. I love it. Ma'am, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate
This
you
was
guys.
awesome.
Guys, give her social media follow if you want to stay informed. Osceola County Commissioner, District 1, Peggy Choudhry. Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.